Welcome to Sprint Planning Explained, a 7-minute guide. This video will break down the essential elements of effective sprint planning based on the official Scrum Guide and industry best practices. Sprint planning is a foundational event in Scrum, setting the stage for the entire sprint. It's where the entire Scrum team collaborates to define the work for the upcoming period. According to the Scrum Guide, sprint planning initiates the sprint by laying out the work to be performed for the sprint. This is a collaborative effort by the entire Scrum team. The main purpose of this meeting is to determine the work to be done. The two key outcomes are the sprint goal, which is the objective, and the sprint backlog, which is the plan to achieve it. We now move to the why of sprint planning, which is about establishing the objective for the sprint. This is the first topic addressed in the meeting. The Scrum team must define the sprint goal, a single objective for the sprint. This goal provides focus and flexibility to the development team regarding the work implementation. The sprint goal should be a step toward the overarching product goal. It serves as a commitment to the product owner and stakeholders, ensuring the work delivers value toward the long-term vision. Next is the what, where the team decides on the actual product backlog items to include in the sprint. The main inputs for selecting work are the refined product backlog, which holds all potential work, and the latest product increment, which shows what has already been built. Based on the sprint goal, the development team forecasts which product backlog items, or PBIs, they can complete in the sprint. This selection is often guided by their past performance and current capacity. While not mandatory in the Scrum Guide, many teams use a, quote, definition of ready. This ensures PBIs are sufficiently clear and understood, allowing the team to start development immediately. The final part of sprint planning is the how. This is where the development team plans out the detailed work needed to achieve the sprint goal. For each selected PBI, the development team plans the work necessary to create an increment that meets the definition of done. Often, this involves breaking down larger PBIs into smaller, manageable tasks. The resulting set of product backlog items selected for the sprint, coupled with the detailed plan for delivering them, forms the initial sprint backlog. Sprint planning is time-boxed to a maximum of 8 hours for a 1-month sprint. The team also considers their capacity, adjusting the scope of the sprint backlog as needed to ensure a sustainable pace. Defining roles ensures a smooth and effective sprint planning session. Let's look at who attends and what their specific responsibilities are. The entire Scrum team must attend sprint planning, the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the developers. Stakeholders may also attend to provide clarification, but they do not actively participate in the planning itself. The Scrum Master is responsible for ensuring that the event takes place and that attendees understand its purpose. They help the team stay within the time box and facilitate effective decision-making. The product owner comes prepared with a refined product backlog and clearly communicates the product goal. They must be ready to explain the PBIs, answer questions, and make trade-off decisions if needed. After the hard work of planning, the team is ready to move forward. Let's recap the crucial final steps. By the end of the sprint planning, the team must agree on the sprint goal and commit to the initial sprint backlog. This ensures everyone is aligned and understands what success looks like for the upcoming sprint. With the plan finalized, the sprint officially begins, and the development team immediately starts working on the PBIs. Remember, the daily Scrum will begin tomorrow to inspect progress toward the sprint goal.
So thank you for being with us till now. So in the previous slide and the previous script and video, what we have seen is the sprint planning. So I'll be adding my perspective on the sprint planning and my inputs. So basically sprint planning is the most important event in the Scrum. In the Scrum framework, we have basically totally five events. So first is sprint itself, second is sprint planning, third is daily stand-up, fourth is sprint review, and fifth is retrospective. So sprint planning is one of the most important event, and in this, the entire work of the sprint is being decided, and we will go step by step like how this is being done. So the first of all, product owner will be ready with the product backlog items which are aligned with the sprint goal. So the product backlog prioritization, as we know, it is the task and it is the responsibility of the product owner. So the product owner will be presenting the product backlog items, the PBIs in short, which are aligned with the sprint goal. And then the team will be discussing on the sprint planning activities and how the work is to be taken and how much it has to be taken. So first of all, the time box we will see. It is maximum 8 hours for 1 month sprint. So some companies are having 1 month sprint, some having 2 weeks, some are having 3 weekends, some having even 1 week. So it depends on a lot of factors. So that we will be addressing in a separate video. So as per the Scrum guide, the time box is 8 hours for 1 month sprint, proportionally shorter for shorter sprints. So then once the product owner presents the product backlog items which are groomed and which are based on the prioritization, the discussion starts. The Scrum team will discuss, collaboration will happen, and basically 3 questions are asked in the sprint planning. First is why the sprint is valuable, like what the work we are going to achieve, what is our sprint goal basically. Second is what can be delivered, as part of the sprint backlog, what we are going to do. Then the other question what we're going to be asked is how will the chosen work will be done, like how we are going to proceed with the work. So these 3 questions are asked in the sprint planning. And Scrum Master's basic responsibility is to keep the time box. Apart from that, keeping the meeting fruitful, the facilitation of all the team members. Like sometimes what will happen is only the leaders, only the tech leads will be speaking, and the team members will not be participating enough. So in that case, like Scrum Master is the agile guardian. It is a responsibility of Scrum Master to keep the event time boxed and as per the Scrum. Okay. So then, as we said, the 3 questions are asked. Collaboration happens based on the past performance and capacity. The team knows like how much work has been done in the previous sprint. Based on that and based on the capacity, work will be selected. Work will be taken from the main backlog, product backlog to sprint backlog. And then after taking the work, discussions will happen, and then they will be deciding on the sprint goal, like what has to be achieved as the part of the sprint. The sprint goal will be written in the sprint planning meeting only, and so that for the entire sprint, the team will collaborate in a cohesive way. They'll work towards achieving the sprint goal. Okay. So again, I'll summarize whatever I've discussed. First, product owner will be presenting the work, like the product backlog items, which are aligned with the sprint goal. Then the discussions will start. The time box will be 8 hours for 1 month sprint. And the 3 questions will be asked, like why the sprint is valuable, what can be done for the sprint, and how the work will be done. And then discussions will happen and within the Scrum team. And based on the past performance and capacity, work will be taken from the main backlog to sprint backlog. And then after the discussions, the sprint goal will be decided, like what has to be done as a part of this sprint. So this is the outline of a sprint planning meeting. So this is the main and one of the major events of sprint and Scrum. Why? Because the event only kickstarts the work of the entire sprint. So this was all for today. Please keep subscribed and keep watching for further knowledge on Agile and Scrum. And please subscribe to Agile Scrum Mania. Thank you.
Please subscribe to Agile Scrum Mania